Lucy is going through a tough time in her life. Open posts on Tumblr show the fun carousel of friendships between Jane and Lucy. Jane, a Briton and an American with a charming accent, is her best friend. One morning, Lucy and Jane are choosing their breakfast. Jane confidently guesses that Lucy will pick a veggie burger with sweet potato fries. Lucy denies it, but when Jane orders, Lucy whispers to the waiter that she does, in fact, want the veggie burger, but doesn't want Jane to find out and be right. Then Jane predicts that Lucy will order black coffee, and they both say it at the same time. Although these assumptions are correct, Lucy insists that Jane doesn't know her that well. Jane disagrees, claiming she understands Lucy better than Lucy thinks. The conversation shifts when Jane asks about Lucy's plans for the evening, and Lucy mentions she'll be meeting Ben. Jane points out that Lucy and Ben haven't been intimate yet, implying that it's clear Ben likes Lucy. Later, Danny, Jane's boyfriend, joins in, and they talk about Lucy's relationship with Ben, noticing the lack of romance. Danny teases, asking when Lucy will mess up the bed, making a crude suggestion that Lucy's intimate parts are gathering dust. Lucy defends her relationship with Ben, saying they're just friends, mentioning how Ben helps her install a shelf and that every meeting ends with a handshake, like business partners. Lucy finds this funny, but Danny and Jane don't laugh. Jane is worried. The scene shifts to Lucy's apartment, where she and Ben successfully install a new shelf. Lucy, who is a talented painter though not a professional, offers Ben a beer as a token of gratitude while they sit on the bed. Ben tries to kiss Lucy, but she quickly gets up from the bed to avoid him. Disappointed, Ben decides to leave. Lucy tries to stop him, but he expresses his frustration, saying that every time he gets close, she pulls away. Lucy insists that they are just friends and extends her hand for a handshake. Ben simply hands her back the beer and leaves. At a yoga class, Jane tells Lucy that she is right and that she should sleep with Ben. The yoga instructor approaches them and comments that Jane and Lucy must have been sisters in a past life. The instructor starts a relaxing yoga session while playing a rap battle. During the relaxation period on the mats, they talk about how they must have been sisters in a past life. Lucy says she wants her name to be Denise, and they laugh, imagining all the possible names they could have had. Lucy then asks Jane to drive her to work, and Jane gladly agrees. As promised, Jane drives Lucy to her job at a wellness center called Cure, where Lucy works as a receptionist. While Lucy settles in, Jane goes to the bathroom and discreetly grabs a few tampons. Soon after, Brittany arrives and warmly greets Lucy. Jane takes notice of Brittany, who has just finished meditation. Brittany is the new massage therapist, and Lucy introduces her to Jane as they enjoy lollipops. Brittany seems very friendly and flirtatiously claims that she likes Lucy. Later at work, Jane receives a funny photo from Lucy and laughs at it when her boss, Stu, calls her into his office. Stu is serious and direct, telling Jane that he has reviewed her emails and electronic communications. Panicked, Jane explains that she and her colleagues were just Googling about male appendages email add-ons. Suddenly, Stu interrupts, saying he's joking, which greatly relieves Jane. He then tells her that, since she's from London, he wants her to open an office there. He mentions that a chocolate company is interested in their campaign and believes Jane will lead the operation. Jane is thrilled with the news, excited about advancing her career and relieved that she doesn't have to defend her Google searches. As Jane exits, Stu is very specific about how the door to his office should be opened. Jane struggles with it for a while, shaking the door until it opens perfectly before leaving. At Lucy's job, as she gets bored, she starts drawing a client who is waiting in a white robe. Later, she gets a call from Jane, who asks if she wants to meet for a drink. Lucy is worried because Jane's invitation is sudden and spontaneous, so she fears it might be bad news, like cancer. While they're talking, Brittany enters, and some items fall to the floor. Brittany compliments Lucy on her drawing, to which Lucy responds that it's just a sketch, but Brittany disagrees. Later that evening, Lucy arrives at a busy bar and meets Danny and Jane. She apologizes for being late, mentioning she had Google herpes. Jane, knowing Lucy too well, orders tequila for her. Lucy loves the drink and asks what's going on. Jane then shares her exciting news about the promotion at work, adding that she'll be moving to London to open a new office. When Lucy finds out that Jane has accepted the offer, she tries to act happy for her, repeating how great it is and how Jane deserves it. Jane thinks it will be good for her to experience adult life in London since she grew up there before moving to the US. Danny will also be coming with her for the move, and Jane mentions that she expects Danny might propose to her in London. Jane admits that it feels strange to leave her usual life and friends behind. Lucy is happy for her and reassures Jane that everything will be fine, flashing a big smile. Later, Lucy is crying uncontrollably in the bathroom, wondering if Jane will come back. In that moment, Lucy isn't quite okay because her best friend is leaving, and she seeks comfort in talking about when Jane will visit. Jane promises to visit her a few times. Then, Jane asks Lucy how she wipes, and they start talking about their wiping habits. Lucy cries again, telling Jane that this is why they're best friends, because they wipe the same way. Lucy hugs Jane tightly, without washing her hands. After they return to their drinks, they start getting drunk and confess the worst things they've done. Lucy admits that she pees in the shower, which Jane thinks is totally normal. Jane, on the other hand, reveals that she kissed a girl in 10th grade, which completely grabs Lucy's attention. Lucy says that this is a big deal for a girl who kisses another girl and tries to explain her thoughts, but her words get jumbled, so she simply gives up. She's more concerned that Jane has never mentioned this before. They continue talking about Jane's unexpected high school romantic experience. Danny returns from the bathroom and playfully asks Lucy if she's ever kissed a girl. Jane jokingly suggests that it could be Brittany from Lucy's workplace. Lucy responds, mentioning that she's not sure if Brittany is a lesbian since she often wears dresses, but adds that Brittany is quite flirtatious and tends to touch her. Jane mentions how Brittany calls Lucy Luce as a pet name, even though she's relatively new at the job. Danny, clearly amused, encourages Lucy to think about dating Brittany, but Lucy declines the idea, feeling insecure about it. Jane, feeling a bit tipsy and sleepy, says she wants to go to bed. Lucy, on the other hand, comments that Jane always does this. Jane suggests that Lucy visit her in London, and Lucy agrees, joking that she'll bring a sandwich from the fridge when traveling across the sea. They laugh, but soon after, Lucy starts crying quietly in bed, which catches Jane's attention. Worried, Jane asks what's wrong, reassuring Lucy that their friendship will remain strong and that they won't lose their connection no matter what. Jane feels that there's more to Lucy's anxiety than just missing her friend. When Jane reveals that she kissed another girl, it opens up a lot of questions for Lucy. First, she realizes that Jane is serious about wanting to kiss Brittany. Second, she's confused about her own sexual orientation. Jane listens carefully and encourages Lucy not to suppress these feelings, but to explore them at her own pace. Lucy explains that she has been struggling with these feelings for a while but has kept them to herself, feeling frustrated that, at 32, she's only now facing them. It seems that others have figured out their identities earlier in life. Jane comforts her, assuring her that there's no right or wrong time frame for self-discovery. It happens when it happens. As Lucy continues to cry, she starts to recognize things about herself that she's never fully accepted before, admitting that she has never felt comfortable about dating men and might actually prefer women. She turns to Jane for perspective, mentioning Jane's experience of kissing a schoolmate when they were younger. For Jane, that was more of a fun experience than a serious exploration of her sexuality. Jane compares it to her current relationship with Danny, which feels more traditional and serious. Curious to understand Lucy's feelings more deeply, Jane asks how Lucy feels about intimacy with men. Lucy admits that it's always felt strange to her and that she hasn't sought out many such experiences. Jane gently suggests that Lucy might identify as a queer woman, acknowledging the possibility that her feelings for women might be more than just curiosity or uncertainty. Lucy decides that she wants to explore her sexuality to find out if she's actually a lesbian. Jane fully supports her, encouraging her to meet other women and get involved in the community of women who love women. Jane promises that she will stay in the US until they can fully explore and understand Lucy's feelings toward women and her sexual orientation. In the morning, Lucy finds herself at work, exhausted, and Brittany notices her tired appearance. Kindly, Brittany offers Lucy a massage to help alleviate her discomfort. During the massage, Lucy shares the news about Jane's upcoming move to London. The gesture makes Lucy feel better, and Brittany seizes the opportunity to suggest that they hang out sometime. Lucy agrees, feeling a potential new connection. Later that day, Jane calls Lucy to invite her for a drink, along with Kat, the self-absorbed colleague. Lucy isn't thrilled about spending time with Kat, but reluctantly agrees to go. At the bar, Lucy quickly realizes that Kat is also going to London and joining Jane's team. Despite Lucy's reservations, Kat dominates the conversation with personal questions, including inquiries about their sexual history, making Lucy uncomfortable and unable to respond. Throughout the evening, Lucy notices how Jane interacts differently with other people, revealing sides of her life that Lucy hasn't had the chance to see. This discovery leaves Lucy feeling somewhat out of place, and she also feels a subtle sense of competition with Kat, who seems to know more about Jane and care more about her. Before they go hiking and running, Jane senses that Lucy may not be fond of Kat, but Lucy denies it and teases Jane about their upcoming adventures in London. Jane brings muffins for them to enjoy during the hike, but keeps a watchful eye on what Lucy eats as they walk the trail. Jane asks what kind of girls Lucy might be interested in, but Lucy jokes that she has no idea herself. Jane also brings up Brittany's frequent touching, wondering if it means something more than just friendship. It's funny that Lucy hadn't considered that, and she's on the fence about it. Jane jokingly suggests that Brittany could be a potential girlfriend for Lucy, but Lucy quickly dismisses the idea, preferring to keep things at a calm level. She doesn't want her exploration of her sexuality to turn into a big public event like a gender reveal party. Despite Lucy's uncertainty, Jane continues to support her, comparing the process to trying different ice cream flavors until you find the right one. Lucy begins to lightly joke, but soon her thoughts turn inward, as she questions her own well-being while they walk along the trail. Lucy grapples with existential questions, wondering if she's running out of time to discover her desires. After that, Lucy embarks on a journey of self-discovery, discreetly Googling how to know if you're a lesbian, while Brittany works nearby, noticing her search. Lucy lies about her online search, trying to downplay it. Brittany praises Lucy's sketches and genuinely expresses interest in seeing her artwork one day. Lucy modestly downplays her artistic skills, but Brittany insists, suggesting they hang out outside of work. They plan to visit Lucy's apartment, where Brittany will cook, and they share personal stories, particularly Brittany's experiences working with male clients. Brittany mentions her desire to open a studio exclusively for women, as she finds it easier to work with them. As the evening progresses, their conversation turns to their romantic lives. Lucy confesses that she has never been in love, and they share a joint while talking about it. Brittany comforts Lucy about the excitement of anticipating new experiences, reminiscing about her college boyfriend whom she deeply loved. Brittany's openness about her experiences leads to a discussion about the spectrum of sexuality. She speaks candidly about having kissed girls, which surprises Lucy and makes her reconsider her own stance on the spectrum. Brittany encourages Lucy to dedicate more time to her art and asks to see her paintings. Impressed, Brittany encourages Lucy to take her art more seriously. As the night goes on, Brittany gives Lucy a kiss on the cheek, leaving Lucy with mixed feelings and feeling somewhat sentimental. The next day, Jane and Lucy go to yoga class together, but Jane notices that Lucy is crying during their poses. Concerned, Jane waits for them to move to the locker room after class to find out what happened with Brittany the previous night. Lucy's voice shakes as she hints that something significant happened, revealing that Brittany kissed her. She's now unsure if she likes Brittany as more than just a friend. Jane isn't entirely convinced and analyzes what the kiss might mean. Despite Lucy's uncertainty, Jane insists they visit the Womb, a gay bar for women. At the bar, Jane and Lucy observe the scene, and Jane notices a cute girl and takes the first step, introducing Lucy. The girl invites Lucy to dance, but Lucy freezes and awkwardly declines, leaving Jane disappointed. Eventually, Jane takes Lucy to the dance floor, where she relaxes with another girl. Overwhelmed with emotions, Lucy eventually leaves the bar. Back home, Lucy has an emotional solo session. Jane continues texting, but Lucy ignores the messages. The tension between Lucy and Jane continues to escalate after their emotional confrontation at the office. Meanwhile, Kat and Jane have a Zoom call, and Jane discreetly texts Lucy about the previous night and her silence. Lucy is upset that the kiss with a stranger didn't trigger the aha moment she had hoped for during her self-discovery journey. The entire night leaves Lucy in conflict with her feelings toward Brittany and her growing understanding of herself. At Cure Wellness Center, Lucy casually browses dresses online when Brittany unexpectedly appears behind her, almost as if she does it out of habit. Brittany compliments the asymmetrical one-shoulder dress that Lucy has clicked on, but Lucy ignores the compliment, mentioning that she's not particularly fond of one-shoulder dresses. Brittany disagrees and suggests the idea of a fun night where they try on clothes and drink wine. Lucy finds the suggestion a bit forced, but Brittany insists that it's a normal thing to do. Slowly, Brittany's enthusiasm begins to wear down Lucy's resistance. Later, Lucy visits Jane at work, where Jane and Kat are having a meeting. Kat is friendly and compliments Lucy's outfit. Lucy tries to return the compliment, but notices that Jane doesn't seem pleased with her presence. When Kat leaves, the tension between Lucy and Jane starts to rise. Jane mentions that she was offered to leave early, but turned it down. Lucy hopes Kat will leave soon, and even considers packing her things to leave on her own. Despite their attempts to keep things civil, Lucy and Jane clash. Lucy tries to justify her behavior by explaining her sadness about Jane moving abroad. However, Jane feels that Lucy isn't genuinely happy for her. The tension escalates as Jane closes the office door, signaling that things are getting serious. Jane insists on professionalism at work, but Lucy can't take it anymore and confronts Jane about how she feels like she's being controlled and having her life managed. They leave Jane's office in the middle of a heated argument, with Lucy accusing Jane of subtly influencing her decisions, while Jane defends herself, implying that Lucy can't make decisions on her own. Their argument spills into the hallway, where they exchange insults and grievances, discussing Lucy's discomfort with Kat and Jane's suggestion that Lucy might be jealous of their friendship. In the kitchen, Jane compares Lucy to Kat, calling Lucy gray and Kat fun. The argument continues as they analyze each other's flaws, criticizing how these flaws have damaged their friendship. Jane criticizes Lucy's career choices, pointing out her own superiority. The inability to resolve their differences pushes Lucy to leave the office, feeling distressed. Danny tries to convince Jane to reach out to Lucy, but Jane cannot even mention Lucy's name while going through her things and finding Lucy's belongings. Meanwhile, Lucy is torn, unsure whether she should contact Jane. In the end, Jane decides not to reach out to Lucy due to their recent confrontation. Danny tries to comfort Jane during this emotional period, suggesting that they might consider moving to London earlier than planned. Later at a restaurant, Lucy sticks to her usual choice, a veggie burger with sweet potato fries and a black iced coffee, trying to find some normalcy amidst the chaos. When Brittany arrives at Lucy's apartment for the clothing trying-on party, Lucy looks awkward and unable to display her usual energy and excitement. They start the evening with wine, and it quickly becomes clear that the party is more about drinking wine and watching other people's bodies than about trying on clothes. Lucy tries on a turquoise bodycon dress, but it's too tight. Brittany helps her, and her touch feels more intimate than usual. Lucy isn't sure whether she feels uncomfortable or if it's just the discomfort from the closeness. Brittany compliments how beautiful Lucy looks in the dress and encourages her to keep it. Overwhelmed by the situation, Lucy suggests taking a break for a pot to relieve the anxiety from modeling clothes. To maintain balance in this situation, Lucy suggests they take a break and relax to ease the anxiety from modeling clothes. During the break, Brittany shifts the conversation to Lucy's artistic talents and her work as a painter. Lucy, who has always avoided discussing her art, changes the subject by asking Brittany why she didn't pursue a career in fashion. The tension between them eventually leads to a kiss. For Lucy, this is a significant moment, as it marks her first experience of romantic intimacy with another woman. The next morning, she feels different, almost as if she has woken up after the intimacy with Brittany. She becomes more distant, growing more excited about leaving for her yoga class. Lucy spots Jane and Kat walking out together and tries to hide behind a tree, although her oversized hoodie is probably already doing the job. Meanwhile, Jane is speeding up her plan to move to London, wanting to save money and improve her career. Stu seems satisfied with everything. In the office, Lucy approaches Brittany, feeling unsure about their recent night together. She asks her if things are weird between them now. Brittany reassures her that they aren't, even hinting that she'd be willing to repeat it, but not that evening. At Jane and Danny's place, Danny surprises Jane with breakfast in bed for her birthday, showcasing the skills he learned working at IHOP by frying eggs and bacon the way she likes it. However, Jane seems preoccupied with wondering whether Lucy will call her, as she usually does on her birthday. At work, Lucy feels a sense of dissatisfaction, knowing that it's Jane's birthday and their relationship is still distant. She had hoped to spend time with Brittany, but the situation becomes complicated due to Brittany's ex. Lucy nervously calls Jane, but hopes she won't answer, leaving only a message. Lucy notices how Brittany flirts with her ex, making her feel bad about everything. Meanwhile, Jane repeatedly listens to Lucy's message, feeling the tension in their relationship. At work, Stu surprises Jane with a birthday celebration, where Kat gives her a fake cake to resist her sweet tooth, even though Kat would actually love a real cake. Stu gives Jane a gift in the form of a gift card for Tate Modern, which he's had in his wallet for years, while Kat offers a souvenir from her retirement. Later, during dinner, Jane and Danny talk about Kat's gift, but Jane's mood remains influenced by unresolved issues with Lucy. Danny awkwardly admits he can't go to London with Jane, as leaving his life in the US, family, job, and friends is unacceptable. Jane is surprised, thinking he would be willing to do it without hesitation, not understanding his doubts. This bombshell casts a serious cloud over their relationship, which worsens when Jane's birthday cake arrives. At Lucy's place, Brittany gets worse and decides to return to Portland to be with her ex, not knowing where it will all lead. Such decisions usually end badly, but it's her life. Lucy is disappointed but tries to stay calm. Meanwhile, Danny decides to break up with Jane and leaves after everything that's happened. After all the drama with Jane and Brittany, Lucy calls Ben to go out, where she reveals her new approach to life and explains why she had been strange with him. Ben accepts it, but points out that sometimes he feels more like her best friend than her actual boyfriend. They talk and decide to remain friends, hugging in the end to start fresh. Lucy returns to the world of dating by signing up for an app for queer women. She also rediscovers her passion for painting, something she hadn't done in years, and realizes how much happiness it brings her. Lucy starts meeting women, nothing special or bad, but nothing great either. Kat gets on Jane's nerves during their stay at the hippie hammock sanctuary. They arrive expecting a peaceful experience, but end up lying in the hammock, according to Kat, where they're supposed to do everything, including eating and sleeping. They hope they're allowed to leave to take care of their basic needs. A gray woman exits the tent and begins talking philosophical nonsense. Kat semi-consciously closes her eyes, while Jane doesn't take it seriously. One of the members starts screaming as part of the process. Their chance for a Zen experience is completely ruined by the rain. The shaman continues telling Jane to develop metaphysically, but with Kat taking selfies and others screaming, chaos ensues. The shaman even tries rocking Kat's hammock to calm her down, but it only makes the situation worse. Jane finally loses it and yells at the shaman, while the old woman simply gives up. While packing her things, Jane finds a small painting Lucy made, which prompts her to call Lucy and arrange a breakfast together. This time, Lucy decides to try something different, skipping her usual veggie burger. During the meal, Jane shares that she'll be leaving for London earlier, while Danny won't be coming with her. Lucy has already quit her job at the spa and returned to painting. She also reveals that she has started dating again. Jane is happy to hear about Lucy's new chapter in life. Despite their differences, Lucy and Jane manage to restore their friendship during breakfast. Lucy drives Jane to her departure for London, even though her car still isn't fixed. Despite that problem, Lucy surprises Jane by announcing that she will follow her to London for a few weeks to help her settle in. Lucy firmly tells Jane that she will now be responsible for her. Lucy hopes everything will turn out well, since she hadn't planned for what she would do if Jane actually left. She also realizes for the first time that passports have an expiration date.